Hello grade 11, welcome back. We're doing activity 5.5 on page 117. Well, we can do 5.5.1 and maybe we'll have time to start 5.5.2. Anyway, so we can open the favorite song project from the favorite song folder. There it is. There's a text file in here with some songs in it, as you can see. Right, and over here we have songs that we can select from. This is a radio group box, and you will see radio group has items just like the list box and just like a combo box, and they're numbered from 0 to 1, and they have an item index 2, and take note of the item index being -1. This is just like the list box, and the combo box works the same way, so you can use the same code for all of the three of them. Right, so what's going to happen here is in the on-click event for select song, we're going to select your favorite song name from the radio group. Okay, add the name to the end of the text file, favorite song.txt. Yep, so in the select song button, oops, I'm going to make a variable called song, for want of a better word, and I'll say song equals, what's the name of the radio group box? RGP songs, just like we did with the list box yesterday. Songs.items square brackets RGP songs.item index. Quick way to do it. And there it is. We'll have the right song that the person selected with no problem at all. One line of code. You don't need a case statement and all that nonsense. Right, next thing. They want us to write it to the end of the text file called favorite song.txt. Right, so we better go and check if that text file exists. If not file exists, favorite songs.txt. Now I'm just guessing this file name. I'll have to go and check it just now. Check it quickly. Favorite song.txt with a capital F and a capital S, and it's singular, not plural. There we go. If it doesn't exist, what shall we do? Well, we will assign file and we will create it. We got to get a text file variable, and I'm going to use a local variable, tfile :text file data type. I'm going to assign that t file to this text file name called such and such. And if I want to create it, well, favorite song.txt. How do I create it? I say rewrite t file. And there we're done. And now we can start writing. Else, we'll do the same, begin and end. Assign file and append. So if it does exist, we'll put the text file in mode to start adding a line. If it doesn't exist, we'll create the text file from scratch using the rewrite statement, and then we have to write the line to it. Write ln in both cases. T file, what's the line? Song. That variable there that we got from the items. And then of course we must close file. If you don't, big problems, you won't be able to close file t file. So I'll just copy and paste those lines there, because on both cases, whether it exists or not, we're going to write a line and close the file. Right. Next one. The user has made a selection, text file exists before attempting to write, and we've done it. That's it. The program is done. So we can move on to the next activity. Just now, let's just go and make sure it works. You never know, I might have made a mistake. Right, which one do I like? Well, I actually don't know any of these people, so I'll just take the last one. Okay, now it doesn't tell me that it's written, but anyway, let's go and see in the text file. We didn't have a message saying, oh, successfully written there, you see? Uh-oh. I've duplicated it, but never mind. We should actually have a message saying, you know, hey, show message, oops, done, or something to that effect. Done. Actually, I wrote, there we go. End of story. Now we're going to move on to the next activity, which is going to be much longer. So we're going to start it now and might finish it tomorrow. So we have to go and yeah, we have to go and load Delphi. And the next one that we're going to do is all about eating, a calorie counter program. So 5.5.2, want to lose weight, see how many calories you've got, open the calorie counter. So we're going to add names of foods and calories to an existing text file. You're going to read the text file and display the meal options to user. And we're going to display all meals eaten in a day, as well as calories consumed per meal in a graph. Show how the food eaten per day compares to the daily limit. So there's quite a lot of stuff to do. Like I said, we'll finish it tomorrow probably. So open the calorie counter. Let's go and get it done. File, open. Right. I'll just make sure I open from the right place. Calorie counter right on the top. Okay. And there's a text file there. I want to check it out. It's always nice to see what we've got, what we've been given. Oh, there's a lot of pictures. Cool. So there's the text file with the name of the food and the amount of calories. So that should be interesting. I'm sure we all want to know about that. And there's some pictures there, and we'll see what they look like when they're loaded. So here's a nice looking program. Lots of work, and maybe it won't be so difficult. We'll follow the instructions. So open it and we find the interface. The list of available foods are stored in the text file. I've just shown you the food.txt. The text file has that format. A comma separates the two things. The first 3 lines, they're even showing you that. And then to display the graph, we can use the T-image component, and the 6 JPEG images are provided in the project folder, and these images contain graph values in steps of 20, so 0.jpg, 20.jpg, and so on. There they are, we can see them there. Now, some data structures have been declared. Alright, now you guys, we haven't done arrays, so I can't do arrays with you. I would say this is for enrichment purposes, but because we're actually quite excited about this program, we're going to do it anyway. So you can just listen when I do the arrays. It's a global array. Arrays like it's like instead of storing one item, you're going to store a whole lot of items in a group, and all the items are going to be the same data type. It's like having a whole list of items together, and they each in boxes, a whole lot of boxes in this one array, and then each one has its own box number. So yeah, we'll get to that later on, but you can just watch while we do that. Anyway, so an array of food, an array of calories, and then a max, which will be used to track the number of elements in the two. Yeah, that's going to count how many boxes there are in AR food and AR calories. And our total calories is going to be holding the number of the total number of calories. So we're going to add up all the calories that the person has consumed. So let's just go write code for each of the events listed below. Right, form show, we'll just do what they say. Connect to the text file. Fine. So that's what we really want to learn how to do, you know, open the text file for reading. So in the form show event, how do we get to form show? Well, form on create and form activate and form show all basically form the same function. They set up everything before the user starts clicking on the program. So it's like a preliminary settings that I've done before the user starts using the program proper. So we go to form show, on show in the events section. You make sure you click on the form and find on show, double click in that space, and here they say this is where we are going to connect to this text file food.txt and open it for reading. So I'm going to make sure if it exists. If not, file exists, and you always have to do this whether they tell you to or not. Food.txt, then we will actually application.terminate. There's no point, you know. Show message, no file found, something to that extent, and application dot terminate. Now we should get a more polite message than that. Okay, the program will now close. The program will now close because no text file is found. Is found. There. That's a long message. And then we're going to say application dot terminate. There we go. Now, if it does exist, that won't happen. So we can do our sound file statement. And we're going to use a text file variable, which will probably make global. Nah, it's not there. Let's say we're going to connect and loop reading each line. Okay, this is form show, so we're going to make it a local because we're going to read in the on show event. So I'll make a text file here, t file colon text file, and s line a string, because we want to read from the text file into a string. So I'm going to assign this t file variable to the text file called food.txt with a capital F. And take note we're doing this because it does exist, and we'll get it ready for reading. And yes, we're going to do all the reading in the on show event of this program. So we're going to do while not end of file, t file, do begin and end, read ln, t file into a string called s line. What are we going to do with s line each time we read from it? You must remember the text file contains the food and the calories. So this is a very typical grade 11 exam question or test question where you're going to read from the text file and put it into different variables after you're copying all the pieces from each one and adding it to the two different arrays. Now we haven't learned arrays, but you can just we will do this again later on when we cover arrays, so don't worry now. Reading each line process, extracting the food's item name and its calorie value. Add the food item name. So we're going to extract the name and the calorie. And remember that the text file, this is important, you have to know this now, that the text file will have a string and then a comma and then, the name of the food, a comma, and then the number of calories. So now we're going to put those two into two different variables, a string and an integer variable. So each time we read the line, we're going to put the name of the food into a string, and we're going to put the number of calories into an integer. So we have to basically copy from the first character to the position of the comma -1 and put that into a string, and then we're going to delete that, and then we're going to use the rest of that string, convert it to an integer, put that into an integer variable. So let's do that. So we have to have our two variables. So s food will be a string that we'll copy the food name in, and I cal we'll make that the integers variable that we'll put the calories in. So s food will be equal to copy from s line starting at 1 Number of characters will be the position of the comma in S-line minus 1. Now, it's messy because we can see our delimiter, in other words, our separator is a comma in our text file. So remember, we're going to copy from the first character, and the number of characters will be the position of that comma minus 1. So that'll be those characters that will be copied into sfood. You must remember your copy function has 3 parameters: the string you're copying from, then the second one is the starting position that you're going to copy, and then the last parameter is the number of characters. And in there we're putting pos. Pos will have the 2, it will be an integer returning the position number of a character in a string, and the format of pos is the first parameter is the string you're looking for, and then the second parameter is where are you searching for it, and which string are you looking for that little character in this case. So memorize that. But now what I'm going to do, I'm going to delete from S-line. Why? Because I want to delete all of that so that all I've got left is the 600. So I'll delete from S-line starting at 1, and that comma is going to be the number of characters that I want to delete. The position of the comma will be the number of characters you want to delete. Okay, you want to delete the characters from the first one all the way to the comma, and the position of the comma will be the number of characters to delete. So that's going to happen, and we're going to be left with a 600. And make sure you got your format right there, and then cal will be equal to string to int S-line. Because remember, ical is an integer. Now what are we going to do with sfood and ical? Well, guess what? We're going to add it to our arrays called ar food and ar characters. So all we're going to do here is increment our counter, imax, and don't worry, you'll get to know this later on. So we could increment imax, and then we're going to say ar food square brackets imax, box number imax will be equal to sfood, and ar calories square brackets imax will be equal to ical. Alright, so we're going to finish this tomorrow, and I'll see you tomorrow.